everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and welcome to the streaming Wasteland here on the SPM Crew Podcasting Network. And this is my weekly show where each Friday I give you three previously released films streaming on a streaming service, and hopefully you have a whole weekend full of movies to go check out. And this is my second episode with this new format. Last week was Netflix. Now we're going to be talking about Disney Plus, and I give a little variety of some Marvel, some classic Disney animation, and classic Disney live action films for you to go check out. And let's get started with 2011's Captain America: The First Avenger. And this is honestly one of my favorite Marvel films of the MCU. I think the whole Captain America trilogy, along with Guardians, are the best of the best of this franchise. And what Joe Johnston's able to do with this film and just capture this classic vintage feel to the whole entire film. This does not feel like a film meant for 2011. This feels very old school, like The Rocketeer, that captures an old school Hollywood feeling. And this film is such a great character study of Steve Rogers, with Chris Evans surprising the hell out of everybody, coming out of his shell for being that cocky jerk and so many things up to this point, bringing an earnestness, a pride, and a resilience to Steve Rogers. And there's so many great moments, whether it's the jumping on grenade scene, that really captures just what makes Steve Rogers Captain America and what makes him worthy of this serum that turns him into a super soldier. And I feel like Hugo Weaving is such old school, perfect kind of movie villain as the Red Skull, the antithesis of who Steve Rogers is. He is all about power and glory and using this serum to become greater and only becoming more evil and more twisted and disturbed. There's so many great supporting turns here, whether it's Dominic Cooper or Sebastian Stan as Howard Stark or Bucky Barnes. Haley Atwell as Peggy Carter is so amazing. I love her personality. I love her class, her style, just the way she carries herself. She is tough. Her and Steve are ripped from the same thread, and they make such a perfect couple. And the tragedy of the rain check of that dance still gets me, and why them finally getting that dance in Endgame is what is like the big emotional beat for myself. I just love their connection. Tommy Lee Jones is so great as Captain Phillips here, Colonel Phillips, in this great quipping, gruff kind of military man role that Tommy Lee Jones was just born to play. And this film, I know a lot of like the big World War II action is all shown in montage and stuff like that, but the half of this film really anchored by this dynamic with Dr. Erskine, Stanley Tucci's character, who is amazing in this film, him and Steve. And then the second half of the film, just this adventurous war film kind of feel. This is such a classy, wonderful, just dynamic film. And Alan Silvestri's score just brings so much emotion to it all. This is feels so different than every other film in the MCU. And that's one of the best things about it. It really feels like a vision brought to life. And it tells a good old fashioned story of good heart and goodness triumphing over evil. And we love to see it. Now, heading way back to a very early classic Disney animated film, it's 1942's Bambi. And this film is just about 70 minutes and tells the story of a young deer growing up in the forest. But not to bury the lead, this is certainly the dawn of dead Disney parents, and this has one of the most emotional scenes you're ever going to see in a Disney animated film. And all it has to do is just a gunshot in the distance, and you just know, and the emotion that brings. But this film is not complicated, it's not particularly deep, but it's charming. It's wonderful and beautiful exploration of the forest and nature, and seeing all these wonderful little animals coming to life, Thumper and Flower and Bambi. It's such a wonderful, enjoyable film that the whole family can engage with because it's so simple. But it's thrilling. The fire, the hunters, those elements bring tension as well and put you on edge. This might not have the most structured kind of story or anything like that, but it's such a charming little film that just speaks to the wonder of that early animation and just showing off just how gorgeous the work of Walt Disney, the House of Mouse, and what they were able to do, bringing animation into a whole new world at that point. And this is a film that is certainly charming as hell and really worth a watch if you, especially if you haven't watched this in a long time. It is such a lovely little film. And finally, getting to the 1970s, it's 1975, and this is Escape to Witch Mountain. And this is a film that I watched so much as a kid. And this is from director John Hugh and focusing on the story of these two mysterious orphan children who have extraordinary powers and are chased by a scheming millionaire, and they're desperately trying to get to Witch Mountain. And there's a lot of mystery to who these kids really are and what this mission is, but it's a fun road trip movie. It has fantasy. It's like in that 70s time where they're doing a lot of fun, creative things with special effects that might not look the best now, but are honestly the kind of film that you just have such a wonderful, strange, just romping adventure with it. And there's some strong work from Eddie Albert and Ray Milland and Donald Pleasance and some great character actors here that fill out this cast around these two young kids. And this is just like has that old school Disney live action kind of feel. It's adventurous, it's fun, it has some mystery, it plays around with special effects because Disney has always been at the forefront of what you can do in terms of filmmaking. And it's a weird movie. And, not everything's going to hold up like you might remember. But this is such a wonderful romp with so much joy and things to enjoy about it along the way. And I know they remade this with a rock, and I just didn't capture that kind of charm that this old school Disney live action feel had. But, it's not a perfect film, but it's certainly one filled with nostalgia and a sense of wonder that you can sit back, relax, and enjoy with the whole family. But that is a wrap here on another episode of the Streaming Wasteland, as highlighted Disney Plus this week, and a little bit of summation here. We have 2011's Captain America: The First Avenger, 1942's Bambi, and 1975's Escape to Witch Mountain. And a little bit of variety here for you in all contexts of Disney entertainment. So make sure to go check them out. And make sure to like, comment, and share on this episode. What's your favorite MCU film? What's your favorite, like, old school Disney animated film? And what were some of those films that you watched as a kid from that strange period of Disney live action films? Escape to Witch Mountain was one of those VHS tapes that I played so much as a kid. And make sure to follow or subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts. The SPM Crew Podcasting Network is ever expanding. We have so many great shows, so many different types of content. And if you want to be part of the crew, whether as a guest on one of our shows or if you want to start your own podcast, please feel free to reach out on our website. And if you like our logo, check out High Flyer Creative for all your digital marketing needs. But most importantly, thank you as always for tuning in and supporting the Streaming Wasteland here on the SPM Crew Podcasting Network.